COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
You think he's actually rooting for violence, that he wants violence because it allows him to claim a law and order mantle?
Sure, and because it takes everybody's eye off the ball. Want to talk about safety? Look at the biggest safety issue in the violence of extremists and opportunists, right-wing militias. I want to make it absolutely clear, something very clear about all of this. Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. And it must end.
I know that there are protests still happening in major cities across the United States. I'm just not seeing the reporting on it that I had
that's right.
for the first few weeks.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not. This is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not, and we should not.
Different topic. There's a new book by the New York Times' Michael Schmidt that says that when President Trump made an unannounced visit to Walter Reed Hospital in 2019, Vice President Pence was told to be on standby to take over in case President Trump had to receive anesthesia. Pence said last night that he doesn't recall being told that. As vice president, were you ever told to be on standby or given, any kind of special alert when President Obama was going in for a medical appointment? And I also just wonder whether you have any concerns about the fact that Walter Reed visit that President Trump made, it didn't follow, prior protocol about presidential visits for medical examinations.
Local Democratic officials, including the governor, had previously discouraged President Trump from visiting. And just yesterday, the president of the local NAACP said he didn't want to see either of the candidates, including yourself, visit, that this is such a sensitive situation in the city. Why is now the right time for you to go to Kenosha, and what do you hope to accomplish tomorrow?
Amongst his fans, people said they were glad that Trump was here.
That he's got our back, the other side, we're not just going to stand and let somebody burn down our city.
Well, we've spoken to all the leaders up there, and although I have an outstanding call with the governor, we've dealt with the staff, because, and there's been overwhelming requests that I do come. But I would like to get out more, but I think a president has the responsibility to set examples. Set the right example for how to get out. Not go out and not wear masks, and not to have large crowds of people standing next to one another not wearing masks. And so what I've done is I've met with, via what I did this morning with the medical experts.
One of the things that I've heard a lot from voters across the country is that a lot of them are worried and concerned about some of the ongoing violence we've seen in cities in this country, including the situation in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where you're headed. I'm curious, obviously, you are not president now and Donald Trump is, but I'm curious, if you were president, what would you do to ensure that people are kept safe in situations like these?
First of all, I wouldn't incite violence. I'd condemn it when it occurred. I would move to, look, the vast majority of police officers are good, decent, honorable women and men. Number two, I would make sure everybody understood, if I were president, that any violence, protesting is a right and free speech is a right. But to engage in violence, burning, looting, and the rest in the name of protesting is wrong. And the persons should be held accountable for their actions. And so what I'd be doing is I'd be bringing people together in the White House right now. Law enforcement at the table. I'd have the community at the table. I'd have people and saying, how do we get through this? What do we do to deal with this?
you've outlined.
I'm sorry. Where am I? Over here? Okay. Well, look, I know you're tired of hearing me say this. I've been saying it since last January. The idea that you're going to be able to get the economy back on track without getting COVID under control is completely counterintuitive. What I would be doing is putting as much pressure as I could on every governor, every senator, every mayor. Welcome